some fall cleanup on our wood stoves and chimney today, so I figured I'd take you along and share pretty much everything I know about wood stoves with you. We're going to go from how to clean them, how to maintain them, how to start them, and how we use them in our home to keep us warm. So stay tuned, we'll walk you through that. So if you burn with wood quite a bit, you probably don't need to watch this, but if you're new to this whole wood burning thing, if you bought a house that's got a stove in it and you're trying to figure out, you build up your confidence on how to use it, or you're thinking about installing a wood stove in your existing home, either one of those two scenarios, you should probably hire a professional to start out. Hire a certified chimney sweep to look at your existing chimneys, or hire a certified installer to install a new one. When we moved into this house, that's what we did. We had existing chimneys here, and we had a certified guy who really knows what he's talking about and knows what to look for better than me, tell us that whether we're in good shape or if anything needed some serious service, but it didn't, and we were in good shape. He cleaned us out and then sold us this chimney cap. This house was here for 30 years, burned 24/7 in the winter without a chimney cap, but it's got one now. And this is where we're going to start. We're going to start at the top. It's a pretty cold November day, but the family's gone, so it's kind of cooler down there. Now that the fire's died down, we can take a look at this cap. So I'm going to pop it off. I can see we've got some creosote buildup already, so I'll pop that off and clean it out. So if you got any coals in your fireplace, you definitely don't want to breathe anything in here, but this is the buildup we're trying to take care of right now. We're just getting done one of the shoulder season. That's where we'll have a fire going, maybe start a big one first thing in the morning, or start one late at night, and then we'll just let it die down. So the chimney spends a lot of time in that temperature range that's dangerous for it. See if I can shine a light down there. Yeah, so we want to knock all this stuff off here. Tough to show on camera, bright sunny day right now, but we're going to get this cleaned up. So I'm going to start out here with running my sweep down the chimney. So this stuff looks bad, but it's not really caked on there, and a lot of it, just a easy sweep will knock most of it right off, and it'll fall down to the bottom of the chimney. We'll clean that out. But I understand you may not want to do this. Maybe you're afraid of heights, maybe your roof's super steep. Neither of those apply to me, so I like to get up here once or twice a year and just clean this out real good. It'll help the fire build better, but this will go real quick, and then I'll walk you through on how we actually start a fire. That might be more applicable to you, so stay tuned to the end. So these things are relatively affordable, and if you decide you're gonna do this yourself, it should pay for itself in no time. I'm just gonna run the brush trying to do a lot of things at once here. Don't want to drop this down there. I imagine that'd be pretty tricky to retrieve. Probably should be wearing safety glasses. These rods are fiberglass, so you're going to want to wear some gloves if you can help it. Just felt I got a splinter through my thumb hole there. So wear gloves without holes in them. And most of your buildup on these things is going to be right near the top. This stays the coldest or the biggest temperature difference from the stove itself. So most of the buildup is going to be right at the top. You'll feel that as you get lower, closer to the chimney, closer to the stove, the flue's a lot smoother and there's not much buildup at all. I guess it has probably been a whole year since I've been up there. I think it was last fall, early last fall. So this is why it's important to get up there. If you burn a great hot fire all the time with super dry wood, this shouldn't happen, but your house would be super hot if you did that. So this happens. So we're just gonna take a wire brush to this, get it cleaned up, and slap back up there. So if you've got any kind of masonry chimney, you probably have one of these clean out doors at the bottom. I'm in my basement now. This could be on the outside of your house if the chimney runs on the outside of your house. So this might be very full in fall when I... Oh yeah, so all that creosote and soot we knocked down from the top of the chimney, it all came down here. So I'm going to carefully clean some of this up. So we don't treat this like ash. I don't really know why, just my grandfather always told me not to put this in the garden like we do with some of our potash. So we dump this in the woods. I guess do your own research. I've read mixed things. Some people swear by this stuff. We throw it away. So if you don't have a typical masonry chimney, you might have something like this on the outside of your house. And these are a little easier to clean. These will have a unscrewable clean out down at the bottom, so everything just falls onto the ground. So you're gonna have to deal with the extra cleaning step in the basement. While I was all dirty, I decided to go and grab my stovepipe from inside above the stove. You see ours is probably a lot like yours. It goes up about 5.5 feet. It's got 18-inch run into the chimney from the stove. So this is also going to be a spot that collects quite a bit of soot and maybe creosote. So we're going to take this apart and clean it up while we're still dirty. So here we're just picking a spot outside. We don't mind making a mess, and we'll take this apart. See, none of this should be caked on there very good. It's just kind of sitting there. So we really just want to hit it with the wire brush, and it doesn't take very long. Try not to breathe any of this stuff. Feel free to wear a mask and safety glasses. And we'll get these pieces cleaned up real quick. You can see after just whacking it a couple times, it's pretty clean in there. So we haven't touched this one yet. You can see this is the part that goes right on top of our stove. So this gets the hottest and gets cleaned out with those hot first burns. So really not much at all. We run baffles on our stoves. So these just help control the air a little bit better. You can see what it looks like with the baffle fully closed. The air still gets through there, and open, it's less restrictive, but we'll clean this up. So I could pretty much tell the level of buildup on here just from running the stove. I can tell how quickly it gets hot and how the stove runs just from years and years of doing it. So you'll notice after cleaning it, it runs night and day difference. A lot easier to control the fire, get it going, things like that once the chimney's clean. Just much less in the stovepipe. There's less resistance for that airflow, and you'll get a much better draft when things are clean. When you take your ash bucket, fill it with there's some hot coals mixed in there. You want to do it on the hearth when you're filling the bucket, and then you want to take the bucket and get it on something non-flammable, or we slap it out here on the stone wall or out on some granite blocks, and we'll leave it out here until nighttime or tomorrow. No rush, but it should smother pretty quick once it's covered in ashes and coals. So I'm pretty sure you just need 3 tools to go along with your fireplace. I think you need an ash bucket, you need a shovel like you just saw me using to get the coals and ashes out of the bucket once you get too full. Our stove is exceptionally large, so we really only, even in the dead of the winter, we empty the ashes every 3 weeks. We can let it go pretty far. But if you've got a smaller stove, you might be doing it every few days, depending on the wood you're burning and how big your stove is. And the third thing is a poker or a prod or something to smooth out the coals and make the bed nice and flat and move things around. So those 3 tools are really all you need besides the fireplace itself. Alright, this has been running for about 5 minutes now, just like you saw, with the door cracked. And these thermometers will tell us that it's we're pretty much up to temp right now. It's got nice and hot. So at this point, you saw that was just a small crib on this side of the fire with 2 pieces of newspaper plus the one my son threw in. At this point, I close it up. And I'll close down this damper about halfway. And I'll probably leave this open most of the way for now, and then just keep an eye on it. But we don't have to touch the fire. We don't have to add any wood or anything for several hours. I mean, it was a relatively small fire, but that's how we get this going. And this fan is one of the nice to haves I was mentioning. I've got about 40 feet of house behind me, and this kind of anecdotally makes the room warmer. In this cast iron kettle, we fill it up with about 1 gallon of water twice a day, because wood stoves will dry out the air in your house, no doubt about it. It's tough on your lungs and your skin, so you want to get as much moisture as possible in there. When you're cooking all the time and breathing and everyone's bathing in the house, it's not that bad, but it'll dry out quick if nobody's in here. Alright, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing if you're getting something out of this. But house filled up with kids quick. They won't be quiet, so I took you out here to the mudroom. Here's another wood stove of ours. The one we were working on, that's an old cast iron stove, older than me. It doesn't get much more simple than that. Not a lot of moving parts, not much can break. Airflow, super easy to dial in with those 2 dampers. We really only use one of them. And the flue damper. This one, a little more complicated. It's a little more modern, so I'll walk you through that. It might be something more along the lines of what you're dealing with day to day. So same idea, we rely pretty heavily on this flue thermometer here. It tells us what the fire is doing. Other than that, this one's got, hidden behind this panel, it's got some actual settings. It'll say cold and hot, and so when you're starting a fire in here, you want it all the way open. And there's another damper down here. We're not going to start a fire in here because it's not quite cold enough yet. But this one is one I haven't cleaned out, and I'm not going to shine a light in there, but yeah, rope's in good shape, fire bricks are in good shape, and that's all you're looking for. So we start this one the same way. It's a little more complex, and it's got some more moving parts, but same thing. We'll just light a cribbed fire with the door cracked until it starts to warm up here on the thermometer. Close the door and then monitor the settings and airflow until we get it dialed in, and then usually we can just walk away for a while in this nice little place to, like I said, this is our mud room. So for the kids playing outside, it's a great way to, a little messy right now, but yeah, they can throw their snow boots out here, and it's great for them. So while that probably isn't everything I know about wood stoves, I think that's the gist of it. So maybe this whole wood thing's just a ruse to get us outside more, but I think in the end of it, it's well worth it for us and our family and our house. So if you've got any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you at the next one. Take care.